Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of the Bulls and Kangaroos. First thing you'll notice is that I'm on my own today. Stephen is, at the time of recording this, is on a big trek down in Australia. I think it's around about 105-kilometer trek that he's on, and it's going to be taking place over just about a 24-hour period. So looking forward to hearing all about his travels. I'm sure he's going to have some great stories and some lovely photos and things to share with us when he returns next week. So as I say, this week you've just got to put up with my ugly puss, but I'll try not to stay on the video too long. So really what I wanted to do with everybody today was to start the backtesting process. What you would have seen me do in previous videos is we would have set up the charts, so the chart's actually ready to go now. So what we need to cover off today is we need to get the chart back to a position ready for the backtesting process. We need to cover off our rules. And the third thing we need to do is we need to have a way of actually recording all of the information. So what I'll be doing today is covering those 3 points in my video. So look, without any further delay, let's get started, and let me know in the comments afterwards what you think of everything we're doing, and let's kick on from there. Okay, everybody, let's get started now. I'm not going to go through the piece of opening up the charts again and selecting a chart, because by now you should all be familiar with those steps. And if you're not, recommend that you go back, watch our earlier videos and get yourself familiar with all the charts before coming back to this particular stage. So we've got our chart open here. We've got the Great British Pound, JPY. Now, what we've got to do next before we can start to put the chart back is we need to take off the auto scroll, because if we leave it on and it's during the when the markets are open, what's basically going to happen is you're going to pull it back here, and all of a sudden it's just going to shoot. The market's closed at the minute, so I'm recording this video, so it's basically just going to keep shooting back to that particular position. So what we're going to do is we just click down with the mouse and then just start moving that chart back. Now we're going to go back a long old way here now. So let's get started, and we just keep going back and back and back, and I'm coming all the way back to this particular point here. As you can see, I've already put in a line here, and just to make it easy for myself, I've just put some lines across here just so I know where I'm testing from, and I've even put the date in here. I've put down backtesting start date Monday the 5th of July 2010. Why I've picked that date, there's absolutely no rhyme or reason behind that. It's just I've just gone back to a particular date and gone, right, okay, I've got just about 14 years of data to be working with, which I think is probably sufficient. And if it isn't, we can revisit that, because I'm basically looking for to record 100 trades. But if we complete this process and we've got 110 or 115, yeah, that's even better still. But if we've ended up with like 90 to 95, yeah, that's also okay, because we just about have enough data to be working with. So that's the first thing we've got to do, is get back to this particular date. Now, next stage, let's move on to the rules. So we're just going to cover that now. So just going to change pages and let's cover that. Right, this is our rules page. Now, let's start going through these now. So you'll see here, I've got the rules. I put down here the color code, so we know that our 34 EMA is in orange, and we've got that as a bold line. We have the 21 EMA, which we have two of those. Again, that's in orange, and that's been put in as a thin line. And then we have our 8 EMA, which is blue, and again is a bold line. So these are all of our rules, and it's absolutely critical that all of these rules are in place before we start recording each of the trades. And this goes forward for when you're doing demo trading and live trading, is, you know, all of these rules have got to be in place. And quite often the rules that you start out with in the backtesting process, you will find that, and we'll be doing the same process, we'll actually be revisiting those rules and tweaking them and adjusting them just to get them to an optimum level that suits our own personalities and, you know, enables us to be consistent and persistent in everything that we're doing. So rule number 1, so entries are always in the direction of the trending 34 EMA. So if we're trending in an upwards direction, we're always going to be trading bullish, and if it's trending towards the down, then that we're always going to be looking for what we term as bearish or sell trades. The candle or price bar, because you'll hear candles also refers to as price bar, must close in the direction of our trade to confirm the trade entry. The 8 EMA must be above the 34 EMA for a long trade to be considered, and the 8 EMA must be below the 34 EMA for a short trade to be considered. Our third rule, price must pull back or retrace. It's just, again, retrace is another word that we use in the trading space. You might also, you'll see it recorded as a retracement or a deceleration back to a line. But we'll cover that as we go through on the charts. So I'm just going to read that out again. So price must pull back or retrace and touch the 34 EMA, and we enter the trade on a price closing back in the direction of a trend direction. And 2 full-bodied candles, both closing in the trending direction, clear of the 8 EMA and the 2 21 EMAs. So basically what we're saying here is we need both candles to be, for instance, if we're going in a bullish direction, we need 2 green bodied candles for it to be considered. And again, they must close over the 8 and the 21 EMAs. But again, we'll start to cover this on the charts shortly. When all the rules have been met, enter next bar market. And basically this is just a phrase, again, you'll hear in the trading space. People will be saying enter on the next candle. The one I've always brought up was enter next bar market, and in other words, i.e. on the open of the next candle. And we're working in the daily time frame, so it will be the next daily candle that opens. Next piece is our stops and targets. This is absolutely so critical in trading, is to have your stops and your targets in place. And the way that I was taught to do this, we do it in a very logical way. So we have our entry, the next thing we do is put in our stop loss, and the final thing we put in place is our target. So let's progress through these rules now. So we place your stop 2 pips below the low of the first of the 2 entry candles for a buy trade. So this will be, if we imagine we've got 2 bullish candles and there might be a little bit of a wick on one of them or a long wick, we're going to place it 2 points or 2 pips below that wick. For a sell trade, 2 pips above the high of the 2 entry candles. So again, if we've got 2 red candles, because we're going to be selling, we put it above the high, 2 pips or 2 points above the high of that wick. And again, we'll show that as we work through the charts. So, this is going to be a little bit challenging in the early stages, but that's what happens when you're learning something new. There are going to be challenges, but I guarantee it will all start to fall in place. And our profit target is a ratio is 1-to-1. So if we have a where our entry is and the price back to our stop loss is 100 points or 100 pips, that's what our target is going to be, 100 points or 100 pips. Just a couple of another point here. We will review this after our initial backtesting, i.e. To identify entry types that will increase profit potential. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be reviewing where potentially we can actually look at maybe a profit ratio of 1 to 1.5, or even 1 to 2, or even possibly 1 to 3 in some really extreme cases. But we'll come back onto that at a more appropriate time. Really important here, the next point is update your trading spreadsheet with the following. Date of the entry, the trade entry price, the stop loss price, and the target price. We also want to be recording the result of every trade and the date that it's closed. This is really important, to know how long a trade is actually open, because again, when we come down to looking at trades, there is a slight, what we term of cost for doing business. You will actually be lose a little bit of profit by having the trade open into multiples of days. But again, we'll cover that when we get to the live trading scenario, so really don't worry about that at the minute. So just the next point here really was the number of days the trade was open. And also really, really important is to take a screenshot of every trade, whether it's a win or a loss. And the reason behind that is because what we'll do when we're going back over our data again is, rather than having to sort of go back over the chart, we can just take our trade, we can open it up and we can have a look at it, and we can see whether we can start to see any things where these things are starting to repeat. So we can say, oh, right, okay, when I see that particular candle formation, my trade is generally losing, just as an example. Or when I see that particular candle formation, then I can actually go for a higher reward price. So that's the sort of things we're going to be covering onto there. So that's the second stage. So we've got our rules, we've got our chart in place. Now what we need to do is go across to our spreadsheet. Okay, so now we have open our spreadsheet where we're going to record all of the data. Now, this is a sheet that I've designed myself. You'll see there'll be lots of people that have similar sheets or be very different. This is how I record my trades, and I would encourage you to also try to follow something very similar to this, if not exactly the same. So how I have got I've created this in Google Sheets. I've just called it EMA Strategy Daily Time Frame. And actually, in fact, I'm just going to change that label, and I'm going to put down here the 34 EMA strategy, because we will be doing testing other lines as well. Okay, so this is how I'm recommending that you complete this sheet. So you basically here, you'd put your trade. So the next one, trade 2, trade 3, trade 4. I've got a couple of drop downs here to say, was it pulling back? I could be saying yes. So how many touches were there on the 34 EMA? So I could just say, was there 1, 2, 3 or more than 3? I can just say 1. The type of trade it is. So it was actually the wick of the candle that touched the line. Now, next piece here is all rules met. So this is where we check that all of our rules are in place. And then we just put a simple tick into there. The type of trade, we can just call this a bullish trade. In other words, we're going up. We put in our entry price. So, I don't know, it could be 1.234. Entry date, we can put down, I don't know, let's just put down 1st of the 1st. The date that's relevant. So we're entering on the 5th. So let's say, for instance, it happens to be the 7th of the 7th, 2000, typo that, 2010. We're going to put our stop loss, I don't know, let's just call it 1.123. Then we're going to put our target price as 1.333. Now these numbers are, as you can see, these numbers aren't really correct. So I'm probably best actually to take these prices out because it might actually confuse you. So entry price in here, we'll cover that shortly. Stop price, target price, closing dates. So say for instance we're on that trade for 5 days. So we can say the 12th of July 2010. It was a win. And we were in the trade for how many days on here? We were in it for 5 days. And then what we do is we basically take a screenshot of that trade, and you can use that using the snip tool, which you'll find on your computer. Just if you don't know how to do that, drop us a comment in the video, and I'll cover that in another episode just to show you how that is actually done. Okay, that completes this section. Now let's go across now to a chart, and let's start the backtesting process. Okay, so let's start looking at the charts and go forward and start finding some trades now. Because the podcast, we don't have so much time, I have done a little bit of cheating. So here's the first trade we have. So as you can see here, we've got the pullback. We've got one touch here, and then we've got 1, 2 candles going in the direction of the trend. And so we've got the 2 full body candles. So we're entering on the next bar market or the next candle. So what we would do is we're going 2 pips above the high of this candle, which is 133.598, and I've put a little line across here. Here's the opening price of this candle, and you can get where you can get these prices as well. It's very easy to do. If you just hover over this bit of the candle, you can get the open price of the candle, you get the close price, and the high and the low. And what the high and the low is the extremes of these wicks. So that's the low of the wick, and that's the high of the wick. All right, so we just simply put, so that's our stop loss. This is our entry price. So as you can see here, we've never actually achieved or made our price. So we've now, excuse me, we've then it's reversed on us and we've been taken out. So that's the first trade. So we put that down as 1% loss. And what we'll do is I'm just going to run through a couple, and then we're going to transfer this data onto our spreadsheet. So we go forward again a little bit further. So again, we've got 1, 2, we've got a nice big strong pullback here. We're recording 2 touches here on the wick. And then we've got 1, 2 candles, and we're going again, we're in the right direction here, everything's correct. And as you can see, enter on the next candle, and you can see this has just rolled straight over and we've been stopped out again. So again, we've inserted the prices, so the price will be 2 pips under the bottom of this candle. There's our opening price here, and we've just rolled over. So then we move on to our third trade. So we've got this little pulling back up again. We've got this candle here with a very small body on it with a long wick to the top and a small wick to the bottom, and you can just see where it's just crossed over here. So we've got one, so just crossing over here, so we've got the touch here, and just that long wick, and then we've got 1, 2 full bodied candles, and you can see then everything is lined up. We're past all these EMAs, sorry, and this is our entry here. And what I've done is here I've just basically measured the distance. So basically, if you take that price from that, you'll get your target price. So now I know my target price is 128.51, and this has been a straight down, a little bit of a pullback, and bang, that's taken out our profit target down here. So if we look at this, so after 3 trades, we've got 2 losses and a win. So let's now put this information onto the charts. Right, here we are at our spreadsheet. So what I've done is, again, to try and save a little bit of time, is I've actually already input the information. So as you can see here, I've got the 3 trades in. I've put in that there we have the pullbacks, the number of touches, whether it's on the wick or the body of the candle. All our rules have been met. These particular 3 trades were, we had 2 bearish and a bullish trade. I've got our entry prices, the entry dates, stop losses, targets, the amount of time that the win or loss, the won or loss details, and then the number of days we're in each trade. And these are the screenshots I've taken. So you can just simply click onto that, and you can open it out, and you can see all the details of the trade, which is really, really important to be able to do. So that's the sort of things that we do, and we just have to keep on following that particular process. Okay, that completes this section of the video. You found that section really informative, as as you'll hear Stephen and I talk about an awful lot. The process of backtesting is just so important, and if anybody has ever told you, or you ever hear anybody saying that you don't need backtesting, I'm sorry to put it bluntly, but they're talking absolute shit. They really are. I mean, backtesting is so important, and like with any profession, you need to actually go off and get some qualifications. You need to understand things, and backtesting is how we do it in trading. And as I say, if anybody tells you you don't need to do backtesting, here's a system, just go off and trade it, I'm really sorry, but any industry expert will tell you, no, that's not the person for you. So look, everybody, I hope you found all of that really useful and informative. A little bit of a shorter episode this week, but look, please, as we always like to say, please be part of that 10% of traders that 100% trade your plan. Please please subscribe, and looking forward to seeing you in the next episode, episode 6. Have a great day. Thank you.